Good afternoon, friends. Today is the 11th of December. It's a Thursday afternoon. Now, I have been quite busy the last couple of weeks. I've been doing a lot of traveling overseas, and I've been busy with my theological articles and preaching all over the world. But nevertheless, I withdrew a little bit from releasing videos as I heard in my heart that the Lord wanted me to step a little back and just observe from a distance as I would wait prayerfully on what is happening in South Africa and praying whilst praying for South Africa. Now, you may remember that some time ago I released a prophetic word that a new breed of leaders would rise in South Africa. Man and woman, black, white, brown, yellow, from all spheres, intelligent, wise, committed to the nation beyond race and party lines rather. They would not rise through connection or corruption, but by calling, very important, by calling, competence and conviction. Now the ANC had multiple warnings, not only from myself, but from so many others, voices from all over in South Africa and perhaps all over the world warning South Africa. So before I continue, would you mind if I give you an analogy? And it's quite personal. Like many of you, I know what it feels like to grow up under abuse. My father broke me emotionally. He caused pain that shaped my life. Now, even though he caused the pain, I am the one living with the consequences. I am the one that should take responsibility for my healing. I am the one that should take direction rather responsibility for my direction. And I am the one that should take responsibility for my future. I remember after my father's funeral, a few years later, I went to his grave and I hit that tombstone so hard with my fist, taking out all my frustrations on that tombstone, on that grave. Now that was the moment that I shifted from victimhood to responsibility. And that is when my life started to move. I didn't deny the emotional abuse my father caused. I simply refused to let his actions determine the rest of my life. Now hear me carefully. South Africa is in that exact moment right now. For decades, we have lived with a narrative that apartheid is the father who caused the abuse. Now, it is true. Apartheid broke the nation in so many ways. But then came the son, the ANC, and the son grew up with a single story. My father hurt me, so everything wrong in my life is my father's fault. At some point, a mature son stops blaming the father and starts taking responsibility. But I put it to you that it is too late for the ANC. There's a new and exciting thing happening on the ground right now in South Africa. But the ANC never reached that moment of being a mature son to take responsibility like I did, for example. They never stopped blaming the father. But the ANC never reached that moment. They never stopped blaming the father. That part I must cut. Instead, the ANC inherited power, but not responsibility. It inherited a nation, believe you me, but it kept a victim mindset. It governed with emotion, not wisdom. It blamed the father while abusing the children. But South Africans can no longer wait for the ANC to change. Like you did with your father and I, the nation must now take responsibility for the healing, the rebuilding, and the new direction. Victory comes not by waiting for the abuser to apologize, but by rising in maturity, rising in unity and self-leadership. I want to say it again with the same confidence. South Africa is safe for the next generation. God has not abandoned this land. The crisis is not the end. It is the exposure. The shaking we see now is not the death of the nation. It is the death of a corrupt era, I put it to you. What we are witnessing now is not merely bad governance. It is a spiritual unmasking. The ANC has now entered the stage of self-announcement, exposing its own decay through discriminatory policies, foolish decisions, and political appointments that serve the party, not the people. When leaders no longer fear God, they lose the wisdom to govern. And when a ruling party begins to legislate against justice, unity, and common sense, it signs its own death certificate. The ANC is not being overthrown. It is collapsing under the weight of its own arrogance. Predictable, inevitable. But hear this, a new company is rising, a company that does not bow to race ideology, a company that cannot be bought, a company that refuses to govern through fear or division. These are leaders, black and white, who genuinely love South Africa. They are already being positioned, prepared, and purified. They will emerge from the business sector. They will emerge from the academia. They will emerge from the church, the civil society, and even from within broken political structures. Now, this next move is not only a political party. It is a generation. It is a Daniel generation. It is a Joseph company, men and women who carry solutions, creativity, and integrity. That excites me. They will confront corruption, not with riots, but with wisdom. They will break racial narratives, not with slogans, but with unity. They will restore hope, not with speeches, but with leadership. Toward the end of the speech, the era of politically appointed incompetence is over. South Africa is entering a merit season, a season where only skill, wisdom, and integrity will open doors. Positions bought by loyalty will be swept away by necessity. The collapsing system will make room for those God has prepared. And as I said in my previous videos, I released a few prophetic videos. I released songs, prophetic songs. And as I said before, God is on the move and something new is happening on the ground. So today I prophesy again, the reign of stupidity is ending. The death of discriminatory policies are sealed. Every system established to divide South Africa will crumble. God is raising a united, intelligent, fearless generation. South Africa shall rise again, not through ideologies, but through nation builders. Do not be afraid, ladies and gentlemen, of this shaking coming. The shaking is the sign that the old order is dying. Pray, stand, speak, and prepare. Because the South Africa of tomorrow will not look like the South Africa of today. A new generation is coming into its moment. God bless you.